There are many different distributions of the OpenTelemetry Collector available, but which one should you choose, or should you build your own? If you've seen this video, you'll know that an OpenTelemetry Collector is a bundle of different components, and a quick search will show you just how many different collector distributions or distros there are on offer on the internet. Each distribution is essentially a slightly different bundle of parts that someone has decided works well together for a particular use case, or that they've tested and basically are willing to support. So, to make an evidence-based decision on which collector distribution you should use, you need to know the components of each distro. Now, each collector distribution will have a manifest.yaml file somewhere in the repository which tells you which parts, which components are included in that distribution. It's also important to realize that these components inside the bundle come with their own individual stability levels. So, for example, collector distribution as a whole might be officially supported by someone, but a single component of that, for example, a receiver of that distro, could be at a lower or a higher support level, such as alpha or beta. And it's on you to really understand and investigate the components of each of those bits of the collector before you decide that that distribution is for you. So let's get into the available distributions. The OpenTelemetry project itself offers 3 distros: Core, Contrib, and Kubernetes, and that's where we're going to start. The Core distribution contains all of the components from the main collector repository and some from the Contrib repository. It's considered by the project as classic, which basically means that it's finished, it's done, it's, stable, and it's probably not going to change unless things get added to the core collector repository, which, let's be honest, is quite a high bar to reach. The Contrib distribution contains everything from the core repository and everything from the Contrib repository. This makes that distribution great for experimentation, for POCs, for things like we're doing here where we're learning about OpenTelemetry. But it does make this distribution heavy, and remember that every additional component is an additional potential security vulnerability, and so increases the potential attack surface for the collector. It's very likely as well that there are many components that you aren't and probably never will use in the Contrib distro. Unless I state otherwise in the content in the video, I always use the Contrib distribution for the videos on my channel because it has a lot in there and I can just get up and running very quickly. But back to the final official distribution. As the name suggests, the Kubernetes distribution is specifically made to monitor and observe a Kubernetes cluster and the things and services running in it, and to do so well. It contains a subset of items from the core and the Contrib repos. So on top of the 3 official distros, there are lots and lots of other distributions available. Almost all vendors in the observability space offer their own distributions. And so that kind of begs the question, if OpenTelemetry is by design supposedly vendor neutral, why would you choose to go with a collector from a specific vendor? Well, it's simple: testing and official support. For example, if your company was a heavy user of vendor X, it might make sense to use vendor X's distribution because you can assume that vendor X will have extensively tested to work with their software, and vendor X will probably offer official support for their collector distribution, meaning that if anything goes wrong, you can open a support ticket and you're not kind of just left on your own. The vendor may also choose to customize the collector in certain ways to make things easier or automated for their software. Now, obviously, using a vendor's collector does mean that you accept their decisions on which components are available inside the distribution, and it may be that their distribution doesn't do exactly what you need it to do, i.e. it doesn't have the right components for you. So is that it? Those are the choices. Use the community-provided distributions or choose a vendor? No, you can build your own. And to do this, you use a tool called, rather obviously, the OpenTelemetry Collector Builder, or OCB. Doing this, of course, you are in complete control over exactly which components go into your custom collector build. Your collector will have exactly and only what you have decided should go in there. The benefits of this are, of course, to reduce the attack surface. There is less stuff in there, and therefore there's less to attack. You're reducing the support burden, because if there's less to support, there's less to go wrong. And of course, you're reducing the physical size of the binary. So if you're working in memory constrained environments, that could be the way to go. So, all of that said, what do I recommend? Well, for POCs, experiments, and learning, as I've said, it's hard to go past the Contrib distribution. It's an extremely well-stocked bar and most likely has everything you'll ever need and more in there already. So that's what I use for all of my videos, unless I say otherwise. Now, for production usage, I'd have to recommend either going with a vendor-provided distribution for the peace of mind that you can raise support tickets, or building your own. I hope this video has been useful and demystified some of the options for building and running the OpenTelemetry collector, and given you some insight into how to judge and pick which collector, which distribution is for you. And I'll see you again soon for another video.